News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
At Healthcare Partners Medical Group, our mission is to provide the highest quality of healthcare to each and every patient. With 5 locations in Pahrump, we are local doctors you know and trust. We want to thank you for choosing us. Quality care starts here.
Welcome back to News 46. Healthcare Partners brings in specialists all the time for their patients' convenience, and we spoke to podiatrist Dr. Grant Beck.
I'm limited to the foot and ankle. That's all I do. And so I'm a podiatrist. Anybody that has any problems of the foot and ankle, whether it's from the skin to the bones, that's what I do. So ingrown toenails to broken ankles, I do everything like that.
You get a lot of business out here?
Sure. We have a lot of demand for patients in Pahrump. There's not a whole lot of specialists that have been in Pahrump up until now. And so certainly there's a lot of demand, and we're trying to bring our specialists out here to make it a little bit more convenient, a little bit nicer for the patients of the Pahrump, so we have better access to care and we can kind of deal with things before they become big problems, especially in regards to our diabetic patients and our senior patients who, if they don't have the access to care, they can have some pretty severe consequences. So we want to make sure those things are taken care of.
It's often said that when your feet hurt, everything hurts. I mean, this is such a needed profession out here. And like you said, with diabetes.
Sure. Well, anybody can have sore feet, and pain is not normal. Everybody thinks, well, my feet hurt, that's normal. But it's not. Pain's our body's way to tell us that something's wrong. So if you're having consistent pain, anybody can, go for a long walk and maybe have some achy feet. That's okay. But if you're having consistent pain, there's probably something that we can do about it. And you don't just have to suffer. With our diabetics, sometimes the problem with them is they don't have any pain at all. That's part of the disease. They can get diabetic neuropathy where they lose sensation in their feet. And those are the patients that are at risk for having open sores that we call diabetic foot ulcers. And those can become infected, lead to hospitalizations and surgeries and amputations. And those are the most serious consequences of diabetes. We really want to do our best to prevent those.
And here's our own Nathan Hollenbeck with your Weekend Sports.
Good evening, Pahrump. Starting off today's cast, we have some depressing news about a former NFL player. Former Denver Broncos player Mike Current was found dead of an apparent suicide in the Basket Slough National Wildlife Refuge in Oregon. Current, 66, apparently shot himself Monday, according to officials with the Polk County, Oregon Sheriff's Office. He lived in Silverton, Oregon, and also Las Vegas. The Salem, Oregon Statesman Journal reports he was scheduled to appear in court Tuesday to enter a plea on charges of sexual abuse and luring a minor. Well, there goes your breaking news for today. But now, I'm back with your Week in Sports. And let me tell you, this Week in Sports was electrifying. This weekend, it was powerhouse, gotta win it, and you gotta love it. Divisional conference games went on this weekend for the NFL. Did you guys see the games? It was crazy. On Saturday, San Francisco 49ers and New Orleans Saints went head-to-head, and as well as the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots. And on Sunday, it was the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. And also playing was the New York Giants and the Green Bay Packers on Sunday as well. Let me tell you, these games were bittersweet. The Niners and the Saints game was probably the best game I've seen in a long time. It was neck and neck throughout the whole game. The Giants stunned the defending Super Bowl champion Packers on Sunday to give San Francisco the home field. The 49ers are one victory from their first Super Bowl since capturing the franchise's 5th championship after the 1994 season. Alex Davis hit Davis for a 47-yard completion on a cross to the left sideline with 31 seconds left on Saturday. Then again for the game-winning score from 14 yards on which Davis ran over safety Roman Harper to cross the goal line on the way to a 36-32 win. The play was called Vernon Post. Tears streamed down Davis' face, and he fell into the arms of the first-year coach Jim Harbaugh after the victory in San Francisco's first playoff game in 9 years. Davis, who also had a 49-yard touchdown reception in the first quarter, finished with 7 catches for 180 yards, the most yards receiving by a tight end in a playoff game. Davis, in many people's eyes, was the player of the game. This tight end is definitely a go-to player. We will see the Niners and the New York Giants next week for the NFC Championship. I don't know if some of you have been sick lately, maybe had a fever. I've had a fever, and it's called Tebow fever. Who's Justin Bieber? Bieber fever, really? Well, I know that this game everyone was looking forward to, but it didn't turn out how most people wanted it. The Denver Broncos and New England Patriots played against each other for a shocking deficit. Everyone was looking forward to see Tim Tebow do it again. The talk around the NFL was Tebow, as I mentioned a couple weeks back. On Sunday, this game didn't end well for the Broncos, sadly. The game was a blowout since the beginning of the game, and it was so intense that there was even a huge brawl between both teams. The Patriots won 45-10. Well, even though the Green Bay Packers and the Giants game, it was depressing and even happy time for others. Also the Ravens and the Houston Texans, with the Niners winning and the upset with Tebow. Well, that is your highlights for your week in sports. Great games, sad tears, happy times, and even much dancing for celebration for this weekend. But remember, watching sports doesn't mean you're getting exercise. I'm Nathan Hollenbeck with your week in sports.
Thank you, Nate, for that. Well, Zach, what's up with weather?
News 46 Weather is brought to you by Healthcare Partners Medical Group, with 5 locations in Pahrump. Local doctors and professional staff providing total care from infancy to seniors. News 46 Weather is also brought to you by your local dairy farmers. Dairy products are very important in maintaining a healthy body. For more information, you can visit their website at nevadadairycouncil.org. News 46 Weather is also brought to you by Humana.
Welcome back, everyone. Zach Fuentes here with your weather. We had sunny skies today. However, it was a little bit chilly, at least if you didn't have a jacket, and I didn't. Our high was 53 degrees. Our winds were coming out of the south at 4 miles per hour. Gusts were at up to 7, and our pressure was at 30.23. UV is still staying the same there at 3 moderate, and our humidity was at up to 28%, not too bad. Sunrise was at 6:54 a.m., and our record was just last year, 74 degrees back in 2011. Big difference as opposed to today. Tonight, however, we're going to have clear skies, it looks like. Our low is going to be 22, still remaining chilly. Winds coming out of the northeast at 2 miles per hour, gusts at up to 6 miles per hour, and our humidity is going to go up just a little bit there for us at 33%. Our sunset was at 4:54 p.m., and tonight's record was 20 degrees back in 1949. Tomorrow, once again, we're going to have sunny skies. Our temperature is going to go up a little bit there at 59 degrees, so it might not be as chilly as it was today. Our low is going to be 26, so that's going up as well. And our winds are going to come out of the south-southeast at 4 miles per hour. Gusts are going to be at up to 6, UV staying the same at 3, and our sunrise is going to go back a minute there at 6:53 a.m. Humidity looks like it's going to be 23%. And now looking at our 7-day, Wednesday we're going to have sunny skies. Thursday is going to bring us mostly cloudy skies. And Friday through Sunday, it looks like we do have 20% chance of rain on each of those days. We'll see if that happens. We'll keep our eye on that. Sunday and Monday might actually bring us some wind too as well. But like I said, we'll continue to look at that for you. Tuesday is going to be sunny skies though. Our highest high looks like it's going to be 67 degrees and our lowest low 26 tomorrow. Today's worst weather was in Boiling Springs, where they had shower and thunderstorms. Back to you.
So that wind this last weekend was bugging your eyes pretty bad, huh?
Well, we were doing that shoot, I mentioned it before, where we were driving a car up the road and trying to dust, show a lot of dust, and then we piled a car with a lot of mud for car studio, and got behind my contacts.
Ooh, that's painful.
That's
really painful. So what's your best guess? Do you think it's going to rain Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? There's a 20% chance each day. I'm going for the second day because I don't know why, really. I'm just going for the second day.
Usually when they say 20%, it's not for sure. 30% is for sure.
I know. We need it, even if it's 20%.
I know.
Need some rain.
We haven't had hardly any rain.
Well, tonight is a presentation for the Community Assessment Report for the town of Pahrump. The public is invited to attend from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Pahrump Nugget.
Also tonight is the fundraiser for Jeff Dennis at the Maverick Saloon on Mesquite. Please attend and help Mr. Dennis get his kidney transplant medication. It begins at 6:30. And that does it for this edition of News 46. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Rhonda Van Winkle.
And for everyone up here on the Hill, we wish you a great night. We'll see you again here tomorrow night. Tonight on News 46, Nicco's Pizza gets an unwanted drive-through.
And details regarding the fatal bike accident are released.
The names for the judicial candidates are revealed. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Rick Vale and Rhonda Van Winkle. Local coverage from Deanna O'Donnell. News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's January 17th, 2012. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Rhonda Van Winkle for News 46. A vehicle versus structure accident occurred on Postal Road this afternoon.
Tonight's accident report is brought to you by Stovall & Associates. Don't expect insurance companies to have your best interest in mind. Stovall & Associates cares. Let us help you if you have been involved in an accident.
We're here at the corner of Postal Drive and Loop Road, where around 11:30 this morning, a vehicle entered the structure of Nicco's Pizza. Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue arrived on scene along with Nye County Sheriff's deputies. We're going to speak to Fire Chief Scott Lewis.
We were dispatched for a report of a vehicle versus building, and as you can see, a vehicle actually went through the front doors of this particular restaurant, and as the vehicle became lodged in such a fashion that the occupants were unable to egress on their own, so it was upgraded to a rescue assignment. It was found out that there was no injuries as a result of this accident, but we're evaluating the structural integrity of the front to make sure that it'll be safe for anyone, removal of the vehicle, and whether or not it can reopen for business.
Because it seems to have went through the glass and door area, so we're not quite sure. I know that Valley Electric's coming on scene as well.
They're going to arrive on location. They're going to evaluate to see whether the power is affected in any way along that front wall that faces Postal. And we also have buildings and safety on location because it just didn't damage the front doors. It actually took out some of the header and support materials around it. So we're going to make sure it's safe today before we leave.
And I know that this is Nicco's Pizza here. None of the employees got injured in this accident?
Not that I'm aware of. There were no patrons inside at the time. And so, again, a very fortunate situation today.
Nobody was transported?
Nobody's being transported.
What did we use to extricate the actual victims?
We went in there and used makeshift tools, pry bars and such, to allow us to enter into the vehicle, remove those people. Again, a relatively easy operation. It was just given the logistics within the building where that extrication had to take place.
Is the person saying at this point why this happened or how this happened?
I think that's under investigation by the Sheriff's Office. Our biggest concern is the building and also the occupants.
News 46 has learned that the driver of this vehicle was in fact the owner of Nicco's Pizza, Jim's son, who is actually going for his driver's license on Thursday. He pulled up to find the vehicle inside his building, realizing that it was in fact his car driven by his son, who was attempting to learn how to drive. Also as well, building and safety arrived on scene and they have closed down the building until repairs are done. They said that the integrity of the structure has been compromised. And until those repairs are done, Nicco's Pizza will be closed. This is Deanna O'Donnell on the corner of Loop and Postal for News 46.
And detectives have released details regarding the fatal accident that killed 35-year-old father of two, Michael Flannery, on Saturday night on Pahrump Valley Boulevard. Sunday at approximately 7 o'clock in the morning, Nye County Sheriff's Office was dispatched to investigate a possible deceased person on Pahrump Valley Boulevard. Upon arriving, it was discovered that an adult male had been involved in a hit-and-run accident. The victim, later identified as Michael Flannery, was pronounced dead on scene. The Nye County Sheriff's Office accident investigation deputies as well as detectives division investigated the scene. Evidence recovered from the scene indicated a single vehicle had struck Flannery from the rear while Flannery was riding his bicycle. The positioning of the injuries on the victim and the damage to the bicycle indicate that Flannery was traveling northbound on Pahrump Valley Boulevard when he was struck from behind by a motor vehicle. No skid marks were located, indicating any means of braking after or prior to the collision. The bicycle was not equipped with any lights and minimal reflectors on the pedals. Flannery was not wearing any reflective riding gear or a helmet. Flannery suffered a broken neck, a hip, along with internal injuries, according to the preliminary post-mortem examination. The Nye County Sheriff's Office is actively investigating leads from evidence left behind at the scene. Anyone with information in regards to this incident is urged to contact the Nye County Sheriff's Office at 751-7000 or Secret Witness at 727-4900. Detectives are following up on leads and the investigation is ongoing. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46. And KPVM has been receiving numerous calls regarding the Flannery accident. The funeral is set to be held in California, where Michael was from. Also, we have been getting requests from people who would like to help the family. We're attempting to get contact information for this purpose.
Thank you for that. A car slammed into a Las Vegas City paving truck early this morning on Interstate 15 near Spring Mountain Road, killing a female passenger in the car. Nevada Highway Patrol Trooper Jeremy Elliott said the accident occurred about 12:53 a.m. in the southbound lanes of the highway. Witnesses told investigators that a black BMW sedan was traveling in the far left lane of I-15 at a high rate of speed when it veered to the right, fishtailed, and spun out of control. They said the car slid toward the middle of the highway and struck the unoccupied flatbed work truck, which was parked along the median. The truck reportedly had its amber flashers and arrow board in operation at the time of the crash. Road crew workers were in the area at the time of the accident and were uninjured. The BMW female passenger died on impact. The driver, a male, was transported to University Medical Center with head trauma. His condition isn't immediately known. The Clark County Coroner's Office will identify the victim pending notification of her family. The investigation is ongoing.
And this morning, by a 3-2 vote, the Board of County Commissioners agreed to pay the severance package for the former Nye County manager, Rick Osborne. The present assistant county manager, Pam Webster, will be taking over his duties until she retires in March.
And we'll have more coming up after this break. Please keep it here.
And the other candidates are Thomas Britting, Louis DeCanio, Michael Foley, Travis Huggins, Ron Kent, and Charlie Watkins.
It's going to be a crazy race this year for Justice of the Peace.
It is for that, and this whole election year is going to be wild.
I guess it will. Well, we will have more with Healthcare Partners right after this break.
News 46 is brought to you by Pahrump Dermatology and Skin Cancer. When you need the best dermatology care in Pahrump, call Pahrump Dermatology and Skin Cancer, 775-727-9800.
Welcome back to News 46. In a News 46 exclusive that we reported on in December of 2010, a church camp called Patch of Heaven in Amargosa was flooded when the Wildlife Service allegedly rerouted 2 streams. Now the Center for Justice and Constitutional Litigation and the Nevada Policy Research Institute has announced that it will represent Ministeria Roca Salida Church or Solid Rock Church. They have filed a claim with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for neglect and lawless actions by the agency that caused over $86,000 in damage to the church's camp.
I guess I want to begin by saying we're delighted to come to the aid of this client. Our goal is to try and help people when government gets in the way of their liberties. That's in a nutshell our mission here. I think this is a very compelling story, and I think it's best told by the pastor of the church who's lived through it.
Yes, my name is Victor Fuentes, and I'm the quarterly pastor for Ministerio Roca Solida Church in Las Vegas. We also own and operate the Patch of Heaven Camp in Amargosa Valley outside of Pahrump. We purchased a 40-acre parcel in Amargosa Valley where we minister people and help them to become a better person. By doing so, we invest about $1.2 million between the purchase of the land and the rebuild of the camp. The camp have a river who flow through it, and that was the beauty of that land. That is why we bought the land, because it provides a peaceful place for us as a believer to go and rejoice and be reborn, and that part of Nevada. In 2010, the U.S. and Fish and Wildlife Service began to rerouting that river away from our property. And I have to let you know that stream, that river, flowed through our property, according to the information we have, ever since the 1800s. And the camp, a little bit after that, in 2010, in December the 23rd, right before Christmas, that river overflowed the rerouting the Fish and Wildlife did, and flood our camp with mud and muddy waters, and severely damaged the camp, the buildings, and other property inside the camp. And I have to tell you that this was devastating for us, and to see all the work, the hard work that we have put into Patch of Heaven to rebuild, to create a place for the Christian community to come and relax, being devastated by the water and by the wrongful doing of Fish and Wildlife U.S. government. We are a modest church. We don't have too much money. The money that we have invested it in the camp and in people. We don't have the money to fight the government. That is why we are grateful to be represented by Joseph Becker and the Center for Justice.
And the final date for candidates to file for Justice of the Peace for Judge Tina Brisbill's seat, who is retiring, was Friday. Trooper Nevada Highway Patrol Pat Walker has put in his hat in the ring against 7 other candidates.